So as I begin to travel further and further into the Warhammer chasm, this idea kind of came to me, and this is kind of a remake of an old video I used to do on occasion, called What Would They Think? Where it's not so much characters fighting, it would be more like, what if they encountered one another, and, you know, what if they met one another, and what would they think of each other and their tactics and whatnot, and all of that. And usually it's two characters, but for this moment, this is going to be a little different, because we're not talking about two people, we're talking about two massive factions. We're talking about Starfleet and, you know, the Federation from Star Trek, and the Imperium from Warhammer. So what would it be like if the Federation and the Imperium encountered each other? Well, obviously, if you know your Warhammer, the first reaction the Imperium would have is "Exterminatus it is." Anyway, it would be like that. It would just be like the moment they run into him, and is like, you're being around filthy Xenos. Heresy. But let's say realistically, like, what would rather than open war between the Imperium and the Federation, because that's the only thing I can see happening, but what if there wasn't a war? What if there wasn't, like, an open war between the Federation and the Imperium? What would that be like? So let's get into it. So let's start off on the Federation account. So let's say Starfleet, let's be real, the Enterprise ended up in the universe of Warhammer. For the Empire, you see, it's a massive juxtaposition to the hope and optimism that the universe of the Federation is striving to achieve, of, you know, kinship and exploration and, you know, further understanding for scientific means. Yeah, that doesn't go well. That doesn't happen in the world of Warhammer. The only thing that's getting explored is more planets and more heresy getting crushed. That's really what it's about. It's not so much, you know, unity and learning more about one another and understanding different people. It's more about let's go blow some shit up. Like, that's really what it's about. Is let's go blow some shit up and also take things in the name of the God Emperor. Like, that's really what we're looking at here, is like, it's all in the name of the God Emperor. So honestly, you look at this, you know, if you're a member of Starfleet, and you just ended up in a universe where there is no order, there is only war, the only thing that's going to be on your mind is, what the fuck? Like, that's really all you're going to think is, what the fuck? Yeah, because really, the Imperium of Man is a massive, just a massive xenophobic, religious zealots who are off killing people who don't worship their God Emperor, and sometimes it leads to killing each other and also battling chaos gods and orcs and other aliens. So it's a clusterfuck. Like, it's just all it is fight, fight, fight. And to quote Itchy and Scratchy, fight, 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 fight. The Imperium of Mankind show. So this, I think it would honestly, like, the Federation would view the Imperium of Man as just straight up barbarism. It'd just be straight up, like, Dark Ages barbarism with New Age technology. That's really what it would look like, appear to them. And I'm not trying to sound like I'm shitting on Warhammer. Like I said, I'm getting into the universe. Like, I've spent a lot of today learning about the Warhammer lore, and it's really fascinating. I've been learning about the Siege of Vrock, and how it's been playing out. I've been really enjoying that. Because it focuses on my favorite faction, the Death Corps of Krieg. And, yeah. But really, how I'm talking about this is, like, I'm talking about it in the perspective of the Federation seeing all of this for the first time. That's what I'm trying to say, is, like, it's more about the Federation dealing with these threats? Like, how would the Federation view this? It would be something, I believe, it would be something akin to, like, how when they first encountered the Dominion, where it was this unit, all these different races working together, but it was more for conquest. Now, if it was the Terran Empire who encountered the Imperium, it would be like, these guys are pretty cool. I want their shit. But here, it's like, this would just be like, this is Dark Ages religion. This is this is stuff that we were supposed to leave behind after the nuclear war that nearly wiped out humanity. Like, this is the shit that should have wiped us out. And a god? Like, yeah, everyone, and if you don't believe in this god emperor, you get killed for it or labeled a heretic. Also, you don't give your hand to these other races and want to learn about them. You want to conquer them. Like, these are savages. Like, that's how they view the Federation would view the Imperium. Now, would the Federation try to, like, understand it? Because I feel like, devil's advocate, I do think, like, on a certain level, I think the Federation would understand some of where the Imperium of mankind is coming from. Because they have to battle the fucking Chaos Gods and the Eye of Terror. They've lost planets to corrupted Marines and, untold horrors that would drive a normal man insane and keep these eldritch god monsters from getting out. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I think, on some level, I really do think that they would get it to an extent. But the religious fanaticism, as well as just the outright cruelty they show to races and including each other, that's where I think the Federation would draw the line. Like, that's where I genuinely think that the Federation would straight up, like, draw the line on that sort of thing. And on the other end of that spectrum, let's talk about what the Imperium would think of, would literally think of the Federation. They would go, smells like heresy up in here. That's literally what it would be. Their first reaction is, you're willingly working with Xenos, and you also deal with all these threats, but you instead, you reach out with love and kindness and not crush them under your Terran boot? You bunch of pussies! That would literally be their reaction. Like a fucking Primarch would come along and be like, this is some heretical bullshit right here. They would see the Federation as weak. They would see the Federation as, I think they would be impressed mildly. Let me rephrase that. They would be mildly impressed with the kind of technology they have, but on the most part, it'd be like, we have bolter guns, and we have chainsaw swords. You got phasers. Fuck you. But yeah, that's how they would kind of see each other. Is one side would totally see the other empire, see the Imperium as these just race of Dark Age, Inquisitor, like witch trial. Like, this would be the equivalent of someone from the 20th century going back and seeing the witch trials take place. Like, that's how it would be. But on the other end of that, you have the Imperium, who would literally look at this and go, you guys have all this technology and firepower, and have all of this great technology, not as cool as ours, and you use it to make friends? What is this, My Little Pony? That's how I kind of see it going, with the two sides just being like, ew. That's how I kind of see it going. Again, I do think that the Federation would understand once they see, like, the Chaos Gods and the traitor legions, and also the fucking orcs. Like, I think, like, 5 minutes, honestly, I would love to see the Klingons and orcs have a war. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what do you think it would be like if the Federation met the Imperium of Man? Do you think they like each other? Do you think they hate each other? Or do you think there'd just be all-out war? I'm not saying like this is not a who would win. This is more like I said, this is more of the two sides encountering one another. And what would that encounter be? This isn't like trying to say Star Trek is better or Warhammer is better. This is just a fun, like, that's what I'm trying to say, is just like, what would it be like if they just ran into each other? Like, what would the other side think of the, one side think of the other? So yeah, just comment below, let me know. Like I said, I'm still like getting more and more into Warhammer, and I'm really liking it so far. A lot of you guys have pointed me in the right direction for a lot of stuff, so thank you from the bottom of my heart for that one. But other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.